Hello and welcome to the 90s Mags podcast, home for all things Newcastle United, hosted by three lifelong Newcastle United fans, myself, D-Man. I'm joined by my exceptional co-host, Jefferson and AC. You all good, guys?
What's
Good,
good?
good.
What's good? What's
What's going on,
happening?
people?
Yeah? Well, I seem jubilant mood considering the latest shenanigans with the football. Obviously, we're not going to cover Newcastle today because this is we're going to wrap up the Euros. So unless you've been living under a rock, you know that England were in the final against Spain, and unfortunately, it's not coming home. England got sent home with nothing. So it finished Spain 2, England 1. Um, Disappointing result all around. How you guys feeling? AC, what's your thoughts about the overall game itself? How do you think it went?
Oh man, do I have to relive it? Do I have to relive it? So, to be honest, with an hour to go to kick off, I was feeling England to win it. I was thinking, do you know what? Something's telling me they're going to do it. I had this like weird feeling, and I was sticking with that. I was sticking with it. Obviously, kickoff happened, and within 15 minutes, you kind of see how the game's starting to go. And you're starting to see Spain, as usual, trying to hold possession. Obviously, we're trying to like obviously block certain paths of them. We tried to like keep their wings quiet, which is we knew was going to be tricky. You can't keep the wings quiet for the whole 90 minutes. But just generally speaking, I thought England did well in that first half not to concede, because I think we said it in the previous pod that if they concede in that first half, or if they concede, I think I said 2 goals. And I think you both were like, game's done. Game's done if it's 2-0 in the first half. So they got to halftime at 0-0. And it was that point of time we were thinking, and I was thinking on my side of the fence, thinking, right, we got to change things up a little bit because this is going to be a long another 45. Like, can't keep on like this, basically. Obviously, the next half comes and no changes do come. Now, I'm going to feel like a bit of a broken record here because I feel like I say this every episode we've done when covering England. But these late substitutions, and I'm skipping straight to here to like critiquing tactical flexes here and tactical approaches, but I almost feel like they could have done better in this game if it was just a bit proactive on the tactical front, because as soon as we conceded that first goal by Nico Williams, it's almost like, oh, now we want to play ball. Now we want to go out attack. Now we want to put pressure on Spain. Well, that doesn't happen at all until we concede. So it's just frustrating, man. Really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all agreed that Spain were going to win, right? And let's be honest, they deserved to win. They were the better team throughout the tournament and on the day. My disappointment is how England approached the game. Again, too defensive, too negative. They were dropping too deep from very early on and letting Spain. I know they were trying to catch Spain on the break and stuff, but
Mm,
when you're defending that deep, by the time you do get the ball, like we said already in the previous pod, you're too far. You're too far back to get up the field quick enough. If Kane's up there, he's isolated, and you've just consumed a lot of energy chasing the ball. So it just wasn't working. And then obviously, listen, I won't say fortunate to go in level, but it was good to be level at the break. But then it seemed like after the break, everyone just lost all concentration. Everyone was just all over the place. And then Spain scored an early goal. And like you said, England only started playing when they conceded. And when they conceded, they actually thought, okay, we need to get a goal, as usual has been throughout the tournament. They put in a bit of pressure. Obviously, the subs gets made. We get the equalizer, but then they revert to type again. They go back to be defensive, and that's what fed into Spain's time because Spain were under a little bit of pressure when England were attacking them. And then
exactly.
and let's begin. Spain's best player was off the pitch from halftime. Roger was off. So this was their moment to seize the moment and say, right, let's go for them.
Yeah.
But they failed to do that. Got punished by two well taken goals, but sloppy defending as well, which we'll get to. But overall, I thought whether it's Southgate, whether the players, they just didn't do enough. They didn't do enough, and not enough players turned up, which we'll get to as well. And Spain deserved to win. Jefferson, what was your thoughts?
It's an interesting one. There's many analogies you can use, so I'll think of a couple. The first one is remind me very much of a boxing match where we did well to keep Spain at bay at 0-0 half time, and you could argue they had like the first 6 rounds, but you know that as you enter into the championship rounds, if you make any errors, you could get knocked out. And that's what happened to us. And maybe we start thinking, oh God, what if I went back to the training camp? What could I have done better? And this goes back to obviously all the previous games we talked about subtle tweaks in the formation, personnel. There wasn't any more sort of games where Gareth could play around. This was the final. The other one is just kind of like, you've got all these ingredients for a cake. You're excited about making the cake. You put it in, but it doesn't quite turn out how you wanted it to. Yeah, very, very disappointing. I agree with you both in terms of the approach of the game. I think defensive, and again, I think the key word for us is reactive. We're very reactive and not proactive. We constantly wait to be threatened or to go in behind, or when we've lost momentum before we make said changes. And for me, this tournament's all been about man management and handling of egos and big players. That's what's let us down. If you look at Spain, they actually don't really have any big names. I mean, you mentioned Rodri and stuff. A lot of them are young stars who are just about making their names, whereas we've supposedly got these big stars. Your Kanes, your Bellinghams, your Fodens, whoever they are, and we couldn't make it work. And the consistent story is there's no balance. For me, when you look at the formation, I didn't know really what formation we were playing. Apparently, it was 3-4-3. It
Yeah.
was 3 with a defensive 5 and a 2. I think was it ITV or BBC said that we played a box 4 midfield. So like that shows people didn't actually know what bloody formation we were playing.
What hope does the players have? if we can't see it, maybe they don't
You know
know what they're doing either.
What's going on? And I think I think there's 2 key moments. The goal for me signaled 2 things. Number 1, that the formation wasn't working, because I felt harsh because I've played 3 at the back myself before, and I know it's not easy, particularly on the right side. I was quick to blame Walker, and I understand that he was a
Drawn
bit
in.
too central, right? He got
Yeah.
drawn in. There's a little bit something there where Stone should be saying, no, push out. But then I looked, and there was a couple of chances, including the goal, where Saka, and I know I've been very defensive of Saka this tournament. He's not tracked back. But there's 2 ways of looking at that. He's out of position, right? Is the formation not working? If he's clearly not able to track back, change the shape. Because we got caught out both times because he's not come back to help Walker. But at the same time, you touched on changes, AC. Either make it a half time, or I think we conceded, was it in the 46th minute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After
Just take Kane off straight away. It's not working.
And this is
And
it.
change formation.
So what did you guys think of the original? Forget the formation for once, the actual lineup, right? Because he dropped Trippier and he brought in Shaw. So would you agree? Forget how Shaw performed in the game. When you saw that, did you think that was the right move?
Yeah. So to be honest, remember watching the first bit of the first half, I thought to myself, Shaw looked a bit comfortable. He looked like he was handling it quite well at first, of trying to keep Yamal quiet on that side. But I don't know, I'm a bit conflicted because I kind of feel like it comes back to the fact that I don't think he's fully fit. There's something to be said about playing players who are not fully fit.
So did you think that when you saw him on a team sheet, did you think, okay, maybe right move and then maybe take him off later on in the game?
Yes.
Or did you?
Yeah.
Right.
I've honestly thought by half time take him off because his fitness levels won't be there.
Yeah.
And we know Trippier, he can play on the left side, and I think he will do quite well on that side. And I did see some crazy stat that apparently that when Trippier starts, our record is quite good. We don't particularly lose when Trippier starts. But you know, I was so surprised there was no changes at halftime because there's a lot of glaring things. I know we're going to get into Harry Kane, which I think is a big topic on this whole game as a whole, and not in this game, but the whole tournament. Because I think now, you know, it's quite easy to do it in hindsight, but I think it's quite glaring there throughout the whole group stage, throughout the whole quarterfinals, the semis as well. We just know that Kane is just not sharp enough. And we knew as well that Spain, you know, they don't like running back to their own goal. They don't like
Yeah.
it. They don't like it. They don't like when the player's trying to get behind them. They don't like it. They panic. You can see they get flustered. And when England were attacking, we started like breaking those lines a bit and they were a bit more direct because we have Watkins on the pitch and we also have Palmer as well. And all of a sudden, the whole team looked up for it. Everyone looked like they're really gunning for it. And it's quite weird. It's almost like the energy changed. I
Well,
don't know. Go on.
you know what? I think South, because we all knew that Kane was going to start the final, right? I think Southgate's mistake was not changing it in the third group game when England had already qualified. I thought that was a chance to give your fringe players an opportunity to show what they can do. That way, when you get to the latter stage of the tournament, if it's not working with a Kane, which it hasn't been, you know that you can rely on a Watkins, you can rely on a Palmer, you know, you can rely on a Tony. But for some reason, he didn't want to do that, and he paid the price. Jefferson, what did you make of the original lineup? Were you surprised to see Shaw there?
I thought obviously having Shaw there gives us more balance, but I was obviously concerned he wouldn't be able to last the whole 90 minutes. Bearing in mind that the boy hasn't played since I think it's February,
Mm.
and I think he played, was it 35 minutes, and then what did he play in the last game?
Was it
Was it
45 or was it
45? Yeah, I think it was half time, wasn't
60 or something like that?
Trippier
Yeah.
got pulled at halftime, didn't he? Yeah.
it? So to then expect someone to play 90 minutes, and I think there was times they could have switched to a back four. Do you know what I mean? Just and say to him, look, don't worry about any overlapping runs. To be honest with you, we didn't have much possession anyway. So there's no reason why he should be running up and down. So
Mm.
I just really think we didn't think about this. The thing is, though, you can't win. It's a rock and a hard place. If he'd gone 4-5-1, everybody would have had a go to say he was being ultra defensive. I mean, incidentally, I thought the game was going to be won and lost in midfield. It turned out it was won and lost in the wide areas. Um, but you know, we actually won a majority of the duels, but the issue was that we lost possession a lot, and then, you know, they could hurt us in the turnovers. And I think for me, there needs to be analysis of some of these so-called big players. Now, I know Harry Kane wasn't fit, so that's why I feel sorry for him. I think if he was fit and he put in performances like that, I get it. But I
All
think
right.
obviously he will be
Yeah.
fit. But I'm
We'll
sorry,
get
go
to
on.
the we'll get to the individual,
Sorry,
some individual, because someone like
sorry.
you said, they yeah, I know your man's itching.
I'm like, ah!
Man can't wait to get
But
on.
let's quickly talk about the goals themselves, right? Because obviously there were 3 goals in the game. We touched on the first one now. Where did where did it start? Because it started. Was it a sure mistake on the other side first that led to? Did he lose possession or did he get beaten too easily? I can't remember because obviously it shifted from right to left.
Mm.
So can anyone remember? Because I remember the commentator highlighting Luke Shaw that, you know, he's maybe hesitated or something. I don't know what he did. I don't know if anyone can remember, but it's the space that Williams had. Obviously, Yamal cuts inside and he slips it through. And I think that's the difference between him and Saka. He tends to vary it, yeah, and you don't know which way he's gonna go. Where Saka, you always know he's gonna cut inside, so it's
And
been quite
shoot.
easy
Yeah.
to defend against him. Where Lamar tries to switch it up, whatever. But he's cut inside and he played a side pass to Williams. A good finish, good finish. Let's not take nothing
Excellent
away from
finish.
the finish.
That was
But
clean
like you
finish,
said,
yeah.
whether it's Kyle Walker being dragged centrally or Saka not being even in the frame, because, you know, on the other side, Shaw's going up and down. Yeah, Saka just seems to be going up and not coming back. You know what I mean? So it's. But to be fair, no one's really mentioning that. They're just focusing on Walker, right? Because Walker's had a
Mm,
shocking tournament, right? But
I
again, good
think
finish. Yeah, go on.
I was about to say, I think people are not talking about Saka in that because when you look at the clip, Saka's not been in the clip. That's
This
how
is
far
it.
he's up at the pitch. He's not
yeah.
Yeah.
in the clip.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not in our
Exactly.
second half.
And
He's not
again
in our
for the
half.
second goal as well.
And this is
So
it. But yeah, so obviously 1-0, and you thought, oh, here we go. And like we said, that's when Southgate reacted. He brought on Watkins, and then he brought on Palmer a bit later on after that. And that's when you saw, because Watkins was stretching the defense like we know he would, making it uncomfortable for the Spain defender. And then obviously Palmer comes on, right? Now, this is where you see the injection of urgency in England's play. Energy, more direct. Before he scored, he tried to put, I think it was before he tried to put a through ball through to Watkins, which was just cut out and stuff. So,
Just got blocked.
he's really going
Yeah.
for it. And then obviously the goal comes. Now, goal down the right hand side, Saka passed it to Bellingham, who lays it back to Foden. Very good. Takes a slight deflection, but very good finish. Very good finish. And he does a little Cole celebration, whatever. And you think,
I'm
right,
starting to like this boy,
listen,
I was dissing him this season with his 10 penalties. I thought, cha,
you know what?
you
When he
know
was
what I
at
mean?
Man City, like my little cousin, he supports Man City, yeah. And he told me about Cole Palmer when he was in the youth team at Man City. He said, look out for this guy. Like, he said, if you think Foden's cold, this guy's something different, right? So I started seeing some of his clips, and I thought, this guy kind of bad, because he was moving like a striker. And then he comes to the first team, obviously he did his thing there, and I thought, rah. So I was surprised when he went to Chelsea, because I thought City have let him go when he could play on that side. Chelsea, because Chelsea were buying everybody, I thought he'll probably sit on the bench at Chelsea, and it was a ridiculous fee. But then obviously he's proved everybody wrong, and the confidence of this guy, it seems like nothing phases him. Nothing phases him. So it'd be interesting to see how his England career goes, moving forward, if they use him correctly and stuff like that. But what a way to announce yourself on the stage. Get the equalizer, and you think, right, England gonna go for it now, right? And then obviously they had Spain on the ropes, but they wasn't really creating that many opportunities again. And then they
There was
decided,
one chance.
which one
One
was that?
chance when Bellingham threaded it through. To be honest,
Watkins. Yeah.
to Watkins,
The
and he had
touch.
such a poor touch. And you know what? For once, I would have loved Kane in that position,
Yeah, because he would
because
have.
he's
Yeah,
got
Someone
the
said that,
touch,
yeah.
and then
yeah.
bang, it's in, because
But
it was
the
so
difference
close
is
to goal. It was like
Kane will be
15
sitting next
yards
to
out.
Bellingham, bro. Kane will be sat next to Bellingham, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And we'll get to it anyway. But yeah, the frustrating thing was for me is that England then sat back after that goal, right? And I don't know if you noticed, before the winner came, he was getting ready for extra time, because he was going to sub on Trippier and Gallagher, bro. He
What's
was
up
going
with
to
this
sub them.
guy?
They were ready to come on the pitch. And that just sums up the whole approach, Southgate's whole approach to international football. It's so negative and pragmatic.
I was fuming at the time when I heard a commentator say, "Oh yeah, Gallagher looks like he's coming." I was like, "Are you kidding me? Don't
Tell me what
no."
Gallagher's gonna do, bruv, against Danny Olmo and them, man. He's gonna be running around like a headless chicken,
Right.
chasing after the ball, not getting the ball, piggy in the middle.
But
Exactly.
the thing is, it go back to the point that you were saying, D-Man, is that like Southgate definitely was intentionally playing towards the extra time. He was a bit like, yes, we're gonna set up shop now, right? I'm gonna pull down the shutters. No one's coming in. Like, open up the shutters again when extra time starts. But instead, we got caught out.
And we did caught out. We did. What
It was
would your thoughts?
close though. It was close.
What the winner?
The winner, yeah,
Yeah.
he just catches Gehi in terms of, I wouldn't say he went to sleep, but I think he lost concentration there.
Yeah.
You
Good
know,
good first time cross from Kukurea.
yeah.
But I thought when he scored, I thought, is he offside? I thought,
Mm.
is he offside? It was marginal.
It was so marginal, man. It
But like
was
I said,
so
he
marginal.
got caught sleeping at, but very good finish again. Oyazab, was it how you pronounce it? Oyazabal? Oyazabal?
Oyarzabal.
Right.
Say it.
Say it
I
again.
think let's just say it
Man,
quickly.
look at his
Say
Spanish
again.
game.
Say again.
Look at his
Say
Spanish
again.
game.
Say again.
Oyarzabal.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ain't
I'm
no
never gonna
food
try it.
over here. No joking.
He rolled his tongue and everything.
It is.
Why?
Un poquito español, señor.
Ooh.
Any chicas listening, hit me up. I'm joking.
Spanish ladies, if you're listening to this podcast right now, Jefferson's got the qualities, yeah?
But but yeah, and did you notice
Oh,
when England conceded that goal, Danny tried to bring on Ivan Tony. He's taking absolute liberties, bro. He didn't learn from the
Tony
first time.
looked vexed again. Tony, you can just read my man's
mm.
brain. He looked, even
He's
when
like
after the full time whistle, he just stood there and he was just like,
fuming, fuming, wasted international
it
career.
just, I don't know, man. It,
50 minutes. That's a liberty, bro.
but the thing is, though, I do believe this that England actually could have won this game
Yeah,
because
they could have.
that energy when Palmer scored, bro, the whole stadium was just like,
On it.
you could hear the pin drop. It was commentators
And
went silent. Everyone
Spanish defender looked worried. They looked worried.
couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. Commentators just went silent. You could just hear the stadium like it was crazy. And I think once again though, Palmer, man, I have to say, like, obviously we are Newcastle fans, and but I think I said in our group chat that this guy's gonna cook next season for Chelsea. I'm gonna say it here first that he's a player to watch out for because he's looking like he's got a point to prove.
Mm,
He
He
could
really
go to
does.
the very top. I think either Man City will buy him back, or he will
He's
go to
going back
one
to
of
City.
these
Yeah,
very
he's going back to
one
He's
of
not.
City.
these
He's,
very big clubs.
he's not going back to City under Pep, man, because he's gonna feel he's gonna be restricted in it. He's like, no, 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 no.
Foden might get dash.
Yo, but all right. Before we go to Spain, let's talk about some of these individual performances from England, right? Because there's a few players that dropped some stinkers yesterday. Yeah. Starting from the front, Harry Kane, right? Now,
Oh.
all right. Do you know he had in the last two Euro finals, he's had one touch in the opposing team's box?
Wow.
One touch.
It's a
That is
stinking stat, man.
He's
embarrassing.
cursed, you know. I think he's cursed, you know.
Well, I don't know about Curse, but he's not helping himself.
Yeah, yeah, he's not winning nothing, bro.
Well,
Man got the
Bayern,
juju on
look,
him, boy.
Bayern, how many seasons in a row did Bayern win the league? He turns up. They come
they
what, third? Was it third they finished?
third.
Second?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
But
nonsense.
then again, though, like the German league was different that year. Like Leverkusen was just crazy with it. But anyway,
But we'll see next season, innit? Yeah, we'll see. If he don't win it again, they need to sell him. They need to sell him. But
honestly, I'm predicting already that he's going to come back to the Premiership sooner than we think because
yeah, maybe.
I I,
But
I don't I don't I don't
his
know, man.
England performances. Do you think? Obviously, listen. He has been atrocious. Nothing short of atrocious. It's like England have been playing with 10 men every game, right? And I don't know if he's carrying an injury. I think Southgate came up with some comments that they failed to get him up to fitness. Well, if that's the case, he should not be playing. He should not be starting,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
If you know the man's not fit, yeah, game after game after game, he's not doing anything, and you still want to persevere with him. That's on you, right?
Yeah,
Because he's got the mobility of a bus now. Yeah,
Mm.
he's he's not getting into the final third, right? He can't the ball can't even stick to him anymore. Yeah, for him to
Mm.
spray the pass, he can't control the ball. He's getting tackled. He's then getting booked. Yeah, for reckless challenges. He was out. It looked like he was out of his depth. Out of his depth.
it wasn't a
And
good game at all.
do you think he should do the honest thing and retire from international football and focus on his
No,
club career?
no, 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 no. I think look, something's gone wrong. He's clearly
Mm,
not fit. I heard rumors there's a back injury. If you notice, he does. I mean, he's never been the quickest anyway. But if
Mm,
you notice, he was jogging around everywhere. He's not actually sprinting at all.
mm,
Particularly pressing to close down. The other thing for me was he was barely jumping for headers, and if he was, he couldn't leap high enough.
mm.
And let's be real, I think Kane is it got 49 goals in all comps,
Yeah.
country and club this season. So something has happened in those final few games of the season where he's gone, look, boss, I'm not 100%, but I'll give you my best. And that's where Southgate has to be like, look, do what you can, assess it, assess him. And because the performances were so bad, you have to drop him. You have
Hold
to
the
drop him.
bench.
And this, what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, he's not managed the big players well to say, right, put Foden in his position, put Gordon there. Bellingham, I'm sorry, you're not a 10, you're an 8. Kane, do it for me. If you're not, you're gone. Rice, if you're not doing it, we've got young Wharton there.
Water.
Bring
Yeah.
him in, and that's what he should have been doing. But we would, he just couldn't deal with the big names. He just thought that either they'd all turn up, or he wanted to be their friend and he didn't want to upset them, and
Moments
that's a
FC.
bad dynamic to have.
Yeah, Moments FC. That's what they're calling them. But
Yeah.
you think Alvaro Morata was outperforming him, right?
Mm.
Morata was outperforming him and showing him what a real striker should be doing. Morata, yeah, this
He's like
guy
a
is.
1 in 3 or 1 in 4 striker,
I'm
isn't
But
he?
telling you, bro. But
but
he's
to be
right.
honest,
He can't even run, and he's running behind defenders. Yeah.
though, Morata for Spain is a different player.
In what way?
It, he
He don't
plays better.
score goals.
But the thing is, though, I think, and this is when it comes down to, I don't want to bring up our past debate about goals and assists versus performance.
It's his
But
work rate, though.
right, this is
He
my
leads
next
from the
They
point.
front.
might as well put
Yeah.
Hosley there then.
No, but listen, his work rate, right? And you got to imagine, it's like he's the captain, and obviously Kane's the captain. I'm getting to that point in a minute about the captaincy here because it's something separate. But I think Morata's work rate, it was second to none. He was doing all sorts, and you can see as well, it's unselfish business as well. That Spain team, that they gel on that as a thing, unselfish
Mhm.
business. No one's out for themselves. There is no ego in this team. Like you said earlier, Jefferson, there is no big player or big star that everyone points to that you
Yeah.
should have the ball in this regards. But also, when go back to Kane, I do think to myself, because he's captain, I feel like Southgate is just dropping because of that, because he's the captain. It's like, oh, the leadership on the pitch, and we need someone with leadership. But at the same time, every time he comes off, he gives the armband to Walker. And, I feel like Walker could have been our captain and just, if Kane's not fit, just don't play him, seriously. But
So I was gonna say, obviously, Kane had a shocker, right? And let's be honest, yesterday Foden had a poor game again. Bellingham had a poor game again. Saka was very very average. Walker had a pretty poor game, but Declan Rice, right?
Oh my god.
What are you? Because they're making fail comps. Like, before you look get into performances, right? On his performance, yeah. Did you see the incident? I don't know if they were attacking or defending. The ball's gone in the air, and he's totally misjudged the flight of the ball, and he just ran past it. Like, I don't know what he would. He ran past the ball, and like when it was so far, I don't know what he was doing. He looked like a headless chicken, like a 6-year-old running for a ball, but I don't know what he was doing. He looked he looked so out of place. It was embarrassing. But what did you make of his overall performance, Jefferson?
I think what we're starting to see now with Declan Rice, and we'll probably get a barrage of Arsenal fans jumping on this, but he's been found wanting when we're looking at the higher ends of football, top level football. We saw it with Arsenal against Bayern Munich. These really high pressure games when you've got no margin for error. Goretzka was dealing with him. And we saw it again where, for me, I've been talking about it in the past 3 games. It's just something I picked up because I've been watching Rice properly. Because to be fair, I don't watch him for 90 minutes every week. I'm not an Arsenal
mm,
fan, but I've had the privilege of being able to watch him for 7 games. And what I would say is this: he's an athlete. He runs and runs and runs, and that's good in terms of if you've got the ball, you can take the ball 20 yards forward or whatever and release it. There'll be times when you're playing against a team like Spain where they're really putting that high press on you, and you've literally got half a second to think, I've got one touch, I've got to release. What am I going to do with this ball? I've got to do it, I've got to release it on the half turn. An intelligent midfielder, we see it with Spanish midfielders of the past or a lot of continental players. They'll look before they receive the ball, left and right. So when the ball comes, bang,
radar.
lay it off, spin, and they're ready to receive the ball again. He's
Mm,
taking 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. He's looking, where are you? Where are you? Come closer, or whatever. And he's
He
booting
passed
it
it
long,
back,
or he's hitting it back to Pickford or Stones, and I'm like, sideways passing, backwards
backwards
passing.
passing.
And I'm just like, he'll be good when you're dominating. I think some of these players are good when you're in a dominant team or you're dominating the
Mm,
game. But I think we got found out today in terms of look, you lot might laugh at me, yeah, but someone like so I've mentioned Wharton already. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall is technically better than Rice. When you see him, the way he receives the ball, he collects the ball, he distributes the ball. We're talking about players that can do it in 2 touches. Do
mm,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So if you look at the Holland goal, Rice got caught out for that goal. So when you're playing against the likes of Ruiz, Rodri, and Olmo, where they're technicians, these boys are going to come up looking like amateurs. I thought Manu did okay. You know,
I don't
but
know.
Rice for me, his
Yeah.
place for me, whoever the new manager's coming in, because I do think Southgate will resign, whoever the new manager is, I would take a serious look at that defensive midfield position and say, you know what, let me give this Wharton kid a go.
Well, you're right, because like just on Rice, he takes too many touches before he releases the ball, and it's always a sideways or a backwards pass. And when you're up against a Rodri, and like you said, your technical deficiencies will be exposed. Yeah, that Spanish midfield will expose your technical deficiencies. And like I said, it looked like he's just a runner who works hard, right? With no technical ability and arguably not, I won't say no footballing brain, but the knowledge was just, it wasn't there. It just wasn't there. The tactical awareness, it wasn't there. But AC, what did you think of Rice?
Yeah, I think pretty much the same what you guys are saying, really. And I'm just thinking about some clips in my mind of certain times where he needs to release the ball and he release it and it goes to no one. And you just give the ball back to the other side. And it happened quite a few times.
Too many times.
And it's one of the things where with Spain, you really can't waste your possession. And yeah, I don't know what it is with Rice in this England team. I don't know if, we spoke about Foden before, about being assistant player with Pep. And is Rice assistant player with, an Arsenal team? Because it seems to be, he doesn't look, and the best way to describe it is he doesn't look quite comfortable. Because I saw it yesterday, sometimes he looked like he was panicking, man. He was just like surrounded by 4 players. He's like you say, he's looking what to do. He's looking. And by the time he's done that, he's had like 5 touches.
Yeah.
And you see him switching over players. He's like, calm down. I'm like, mate, you calm down.
Yeah.
And these Spanish players, they work a system where they swarm on you, but they've always got another player who sits just outside. So when they get the ball back, they pass it to the guy who's just outside, and the attack is on quite quickly. So it happened to us quite a lot of times.
So quickly on Gareth Southgate, do we all think that he walks after this? Do you think has he taken them as far as he can, or is he still the right man for the job, AC?
Personally, I think, with all due respect, I think he's definitely been able to take the team as far as he could over this tenure of 8 years, wasn't it? He's been in the placement of the management for England. And you've got to take our minds back to a point where when he did become first manager, arguably England were in a very much worse state in terms of as a squad and such. And obviously he's a very good people's person. He can be good management, like man-to-man management. Once again, it does remind us of a certain manager. I'm not going to mention his name here, but very similar traits. Now, I've been listening to other people discuss this because it's a hot topic, right? Everyone's discussing it. It's hot off the press. Everyone's talking about it, should he stay? Should he go? Should he stay? Should he go? But I feel like if he is going to move on and he wants to do that, we have to bring in a manager who kind of play attacking football. And it sounds silly to say that, but we need attacking set-minded football.
This England team, they only scored, I think, 7 goals in the whole tournament, and they had a lower XG than Croatia. Wow. So, yeah, you might need an attacking-minded manager moving forward, because the talent that they've got in that squad. And we all came into the tournament saying that the defense was the weakest part of this England team anyway. So your best form of defense was attack.
Yeah, we always said that offense is going to be their best fit to do. So
he didn't get the memo.
But I think
Spain was saying they were happy that Sterling and Rashford wasn't there. I think Rodri and Laporte apparently said that.
That's interesting. I do look at the alternative universe of Rashford being there. Maybe not less so Sterling, but maybe also looking at I've forgotten my guy with the curtains for City. What's his name?
Grealish.
That's it.
But then do you really need a Rashford when you had Anthony Gordon sitting there, bro? Anthony Gordon sitting.
Yeah.
When you've got Carvajal, I think he got booked, right? Attack him, attack him. Like make him scared to make a challenge or commit himself and win a. Like do something. This game
I
was
know.
screaming out for him.
I
Screaming out.
know. The thing is, we beat that drum about Gordon every episode. When we reviewed about England Euros, it's every episode, and I'm just tired of beating that drum, man. I'm putting sticks down.
Something
I'm
must
tired.
have happened, man. I'm
tired.
sorry.
But the thing is, though, there's actually something that's come out as well, that after the goal we conceded, apparently Bellingham was just upset. He was vexed, and apparently he was looking at the bench and almost like saying to Gareth Southgate, saying, do something.
But
like,
Bellingham is tread very carefully, because did you see the articles that came out of him about him today? How he's got no friends in the England camp, and how he's all good to do the interviews when they're winning, but when they lose, he don't want to do no interviews, and the PR stuff, and like Trent is only brethren, and I mean it could be they're looking for a villain, but and then they're doing clips of when he's going to hug everyone at the end. It's for PR, and what's his name avoids him. What's his name? Palmer. I don't even look at him, but I think Palmer shakes his arm after. But yeah, the narrative that they're trying to spin on Bellingham, you need to tread very, very carefully now. Very carefully. But
it's a funny one, because this is when you have to be careful of almost like what the media is almost trying to portray, or what the players are trying to like make certain players like their scapegoats for some of these things as well.
And we see through it. We see through it. But
because when it's Rooney, he had a temper. He had a temper and all
fiery,
this stuff.
He's fiery. Yeah, you need that passion. Yeah. But quickly, Jefferson, before we go on to Spain, quickly, do you think Southgate should stay, or should he go?
He's got to go. He's got to go. Reason I say that is I think he's definitely taken them as far as he can. I think AC referenced that point he picked them up at after Big Sam was in temporary charge or whatever it was. He was only meant to be a caretaker. Respectfully, he is a cup manager, and listen, without going into the context of having easy draws in World Cup 2018 and this one having home advantage in 2020, you have to go with what the facts are, which is he got to 2 Euros finals and a World Cup semi-final. The one for me though I really feel was World Cup. I actually think, as good as France were and Argentina were, I actually think England could have won the World Cup. They had a lot of players on form at that time, fit as well. We had a really good attack. Even Callum was there. Do you know what I mean? Rashford was there. Grealish was there. We had a good balance in the midfield. Bellingham was playing 8 next to Henderson and all that sort of stuff. So we had really good balance, and we just didn't take advantage of it. So thank him for his service, but it's time to go. And I actually think we need a foreign coach. Like, I'm done with sort of the British managers now. I'm sorry to say it. Where England are now, they have a crop of players who can or should win a tournament. Because again, when you look at Spain, they've brought in the under-21 manager. Now, Oyarzabal, who scored the goal, he's a good player, but he plays for Sociedad. Nico Williams, as talented as he is, he's a young prospect playing for Bilbao, who did Bilbao just about finish in the top 6, right? Lamine Yamal, you're pinning all your hopes on a 16-year-old. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't pay off. Obviously, you can argue he's a one-off, but you get my drift. The players we were playing against actually weren't exactly world beaters. They're just better at playing football than us, and that can be dealt with a better coach potentially. And I think, I said it on Twitter, I think Jurgen Klopp, he could turn us into winners, not just on the pitch, but that real winning mentality. Like, I don't care. I'm going to bring on Tony. Let's launch it long. I don't care. We're going to win this game.
Football. Klopp football is very attacking. In fact, he pretty much doesn't defend, which I don't mind. I don't mind, man. Run them channels, man. Run them channels. But yeah.
Because apart from Eddie, if we're going to stay British, which is really frustrating to be honest with you, you've only really got Brendan Rodgers, who's up at Celtic.
Potter.
Potter and Eddie, because Cooper's gone to Leicester. Who else as a British coach is sort of okay? You got that Will Still over in France or Belgium, wherever he is. He hasn't even got a coaching certificate. So it's time. I get it. I know we were burnt with the whole Capello thing. I get it, but that was ages ago now, 2010. Let's get over it. Get a proper foreign coach in who's going to turn us into winners now.
Yeah. Honestly speaking, just to say quickly, honestly speaking, because I know everyone's talking about Eddie Howe and this mixture. honestly, I do feel like if they were to get Eddie Howe in, it's almost going to be very similar notions. I have to say it. It will
Just
be
the
very similar.
opposite, just
At
flipped round.
Yeah,
Instead
at
of
least Gordon will
defensive,
get
it'll
a
be
game.
attacking. We'll be conceding 3 goals a game or 2, 3 goals, and everyone will be moaning the same
Yeah,
thing. It's just that we're
need to
going to
get
be
that balance, man.
entertaining,
Need to
And
get that
also,
balance.
and let's face it, Eddie Howe can be quite stubborn as well. So when people talking about do changes, he won't change. Anyway,
Are you with
people
them
could listen.
changes?
Matt
People could
Ritchie
listen.
will get his
People
one
could
cap,
listen.
won't he?
People can listen to the past podcast when we talk about Newcastle, and when we talk about Newcastle in the future to come, the next season and such. But Mr. Eddie Howe is, 65-minute substitution guy. You don't see substitutions before that time. I'm telling you now. So all I say, and I said it on Twitter as well, be careful what you wish for.
Right.
That's my piece.
Let's
5 minutes.
let's wrap up by giving Spain their flowers, right? Because they, like I said at the beginning of the show, they were the best team in the tournament, best team on the day. They've got the player of the tournament, which was Rodri, young player of the tournament, which was Jamal. Top scorers in the tournament. I think the first team to do 7 straight wins or something like that. How good were they, and how good can they be going forward, Jefferson?
Listen, the future's bright for them. They've been able to integrate, Lenormand into their defense. Danny Olmo's a really promising player. And if you look at the squad, they made 11 changes, wasn't it, in their final group game? They were able to utilize the squad, and is it Zubimendi came on? He looked like he had an impact on the game, Zubimendi. So they've got young, talented players that are coming to the fore. So their future looks bright. For me, I mean, I just think, don't get me wrong, it all came right in this tournament. But I think any other tournament, they might have struggled on the basis that they don't have a goal scoring centre forward. And I think that is a problem they might face in the future. So
Mm,
I think everyone not to get carried away. Don't expect them to kill everybody in the World Cup. I think they may struggle in terms of not having that defined number 9 sort of goal scorer, but I think the future looks bright for them. They've got some really young, talented players, and we spoke a few episodes back about how I like Ferran Torres, and he barely got a kick. I think he had a
Great player.
game or a few sub appearances. So yeah, look, their future's in good hands. The manager's former under-21 coach,
mm,
so he knows the young players coming through, and he's worked with some of these players before. So
exactly. 90, like I said, 19s, 21s, and this is the first team now. And what also impressed me, a couple of things, is the way they can mix up their style of play, right? So we know Spain about the passing, keeping the ball, and some people say, pass them to death, but they've introduced a wing play as well, so they can mix up. They can go direct with those 2 wingers, and where they need to, they can sit back and defend, which was really impressive. So, possession based football, counter attack football, whichever it is, they seem to be the masters at. And also, it's the level of opposition. We talked about England's easy side of the draw. The level of opposition they've had to face to get to the final. Italy. I think they don't play Croatia, but they played Germany. They played
France,
France. You know what I mean? So it's different. It's different. The top opposition they've faced, and they've passed with flying colours. And I mean, Rodri. I mean, how good is this guy, bruv? Because he, as a DM, he stands alone in it, and people are saying now he should be getting the Ballon d'Or. Like, this guy is not as good, but he's the next one from Busquets, bruv. Like, that's the kind of level we're talking about.
Yeah,
Obviously, Busquets is the ultimate.
I saw people comparing that, and I
No,
was
no,
just
no,
like,
I
no,
think he's
nah,
better. I think he's better.
nah.
I
Busquets.
think he does
nah.
more. He gets
Jefferson,
more
no,
involved in the
no,
game.
no,
No,
no, no,
He
no,
does.
no,
He
no,
gets
no,
more
no, no,
involved.
that's a separate
no, no, no,
conversation.
no, no, no,
Busquets
no,
receives
no.
the ball and passes it 10
No,
yards.
no. You need to watch.
Rodri's getting the tackles in,
Jefferson,
and he's getting the
watch,
goals as well.
watch Busquets. Watch Busquets. Look at what they say about Busquets, his teammates and people that watch him, bro. I saw Owen Hargreaves talking about him the other day. I see Cesc Fabregas talking about. When you analyze what this brother did, dirty. But don't
Busquets
get me
was
wrong,
different, man. He was different. He was
Rodri,
different.
in the modern day, he stands alone. Yeah, and these Rice comparisons have to end. That it's just nonsense.
Wow.
Busquets
Absolute nonsense.
had
He's
eyes in the
left him
back
in the
of his head.
dust.
Busquets had eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah,
It
different.
was different mentality. It was radar all on all the time.
Yeah. But listen, Rodri, like I said, he's been immense, and I think the unbeaten record that he has for Spain is I can't remember how long it is, but it's a madness. And you know, he
It's
don't
annoying me, these stats though. Every time I
he-
see some new stats that like X amount 50th, 65th game, Rodri's been unbeaten. I'm like, Jesus, man, you're
Wow.
doing this every time he wins a
I wish
game.
we had a player like that,
well, this
both
is
for
it.
Newcastle and England.
This is it.
You know,
And then obviously you've got the wings. We talk about Williams and Yamal, like two young players that the world is at their feet currently. And Williams might be going to Barcelona. If he goes to Barcelona, they're on the same team again. They're on the same team again, causing all sorts of stress. Yeah, forget Mbappe and Vinny and all that. This will be the real deal. This will be the real deal. But
I have to admit, La Liga is going to be quite entertaining to watch next season
it
with
will be.
Mbappe going Madrid and, like you said, Williams going up to Barca. It's
But even in the middle,
Endrick,
yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Endrick is
Yeah,
He's
he's
special.
He's a Pele regen. I'm telling you.
yeah. But then
Mm.
Spain's midfield as well, with Rodri, Ruiz, and is it Olmo? Or who else? Who played it was those three, wasn't it? Well, Olmo came in late, but again, they just keep producing these midfield, and like you said, because they know how to play from younger ages all the way through. They have an identity, and that's what England don't do. England cannot control games. They win, even if they do win, they never control games. Spain, they never look out of control. And to me, credit to them. I think it would have been, as much as you want England to win, it would have been a travesty because football won,
Robbery.
innit? Attacking football,
yeah.
attacking football
Best
won the final.
style, best entertaining football. This team won every single game in the tournament.
And I won a tenner, just saying.
And this guy, he did a little cheeky bet.
I'm rich.
And I think as well, Spain, they still have probably the most goal scorers within their team throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah.
Something like 9 or 10 players. It's just ridiculous.
To England's 4 or 5, whatever it was. But
It's just ridiculous. But
yeah.
shout out to Nico Williams anyway. Shout out to him.
God.
I just want to say that what impresses me, he's not just good going forward, but he did so much defensive work yesterday as well.
I'm
And
just
I
so
think
gutted he's not
I
playing
think
for
a lot of
Ghana.
people don't. A lot of people won't point that out, but he did a lot of defensive work. Very good player.
I'm just so gutted, man. It's another situation like with the Boateng brothers. Although obviously Kevin Prince was quite the talent, so it was like, it's not too bad. I think we got decent side of the brotherhood here. But yeah, we've got Iñaki and Spain's got Nico. So yeah, when I see him, it's a little bit sad because you're like,
What could have
we'd love
been?
to see him playing for the Black Stars. Yeah,
It's all right, man.
but
It's
no,
all right.
bless him. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Keep your comments coming in, what you want us to discuss moving forward. But yeah, Euros is a wrap. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely got better as the tournament went on. But yeah, until next time, we'll see you later. Peace.
Peace.
We out here.